Hello pepperonis. Today I'm going to show you guys a trade that we got on ES today. This trade was a 2 risk reward, smaller than I could have received if I held out to 2 standard deviation. And I'm going to show you guys a recording of the trade actually happening live. Starting with this trade, we are coming up to the end of our 20 to 22 Q1 accumulation. And what we're going to need after that is obviously our PD arrays where we can expect price to reverse from, where we're going to want price to break out of and retest for us to continue in a trade, where we can expect our reversals, our draw on liquidity, and so forth. So right now we can look at this and see we have this doji candle at the top of Q1 of our daily cycle range. We can also just view a little left and see a larger doji created in the middle of Q4 of that previous day. And this was my high and my low for the current session that we're in. We can also see there is a smaller 15-minute doji inside of this range where price was currently rejecting off of. Now that we have the 15-minute marked out, I want us to go to the end of this accumulation and just run through the trade on how we got into the trade at the low. We're going to mark out our 1-minute support and resistance, or our reinforcement for our zone that we're currently creating. You can see we have this larger wick on the 1 minute where price rejected off of above our range. You can also see we have a doji just below the range created just before the current move. Okay, we're going to play price forward and see how it's going to react from our fortification wicks that we drew above and below our current accumulation range of Q1. We can see the range is 22 ticks. So these smaller ranges, we can expect price to most probably take both sides. We also need to expect with this model that price can take both sides around 70% of the time. That doesn't mean that we don't trade it. That means we can trade both sides depending on which way it breaks, retests, and respects from our fortification. And we're going to see how price is going to respect one side and not the other in this example today. So let's play price on until we get our standard deviation lines. We're going to draw out our standard deviation zones of 1 and 2 on both sides. We need to also tell ourselves that price can reverse within 1.5 standard deviation of the range. So if this is 1, around 50% of that, we can expect price to reverse if we're going to go and expect price to have a continuation or a reversal. Same with going bearish. So let's see how price plays. We have our 15-minute wick gaps below and above. We have our 1-minute fortification for reaction. And we're going to see how price reacts right now. We can see we have a long confirmation, meaning that we have a breakout outside of a range that was created from 9 o'clock to 9:22. But what we're going to need is price to reject off of our level and then give us a confirmation that it wants to go bullish. But the issue is we have this 15-minute wick gap just above. So this range that it has to go is quite large. So we're going to have to then wait for a possible buy at standard deviation 1, most possibly. So I'm still expecting price to have some sort of rejection from this higher time frame 15 minute that is above the range. And if we do close above that 15 minute, we can see that as a continuation of the trend. But if we do have some sort of rejection, we are probably going to have to wait for a retest on a lower price to go higher, or price could just break down and continue lower, just take lower price. So let's see what we have right now. Okay, we have this wick created at the top of our range from this candle that didn't break out. So we're going to use that as fortification for the future. We can see this candle after breaking rejected off of our wick that we created as fortification for our top of our range. But the issue is we still haven't displaced or created some sort of movement above that 15-minute wick gap that we have above. So this is still rejection. So we're going to see how price plays in this range right now. Here we have a doji that was created. We're going to see that as our new support, our 1 minute support for our standard deviation 1 range. So if price does break above with clear intention and we have a rejection, we can get in for a buy. But now we're also going to probably see price just wicking and then probably play bearish. Here we have price rejecting from that 1 minute wick gap created at standard deviation 1. We are coming into that 1 minute wick gap as fortification. So we're going to try and see if we can have a rejection and a retest of that current range. So maybe if we have something like this, we could go as a buy. Let's see what price does. Okay, we fully rejected off of our range. We're going to need price to kind of pull back and show clear rejection from that 1 minute if we're going to want to go bullish. But we're still using this 1 minute that we created just above in standard deviation 1 as a rejection. So we're still winning. Okay, price did not pull back to our fortification for a buy. Price did also not have a clear close above that 1 minute. So this is currently my new rejection. I'm going to need price to close above, reject, and then we could possibly go for a buy in this current move. Price is rejecting. I don't think we're going to have to go for a buy right now. Let's see if we are coming into fortification, which is just below. And if we do get some rejection, we could probably see what we can do from there. Okay, we wicked into our range. Let's draw our FUB. We pulled into 70.5, 79. So this is a good area for a buy. We're going to need price to show clear rejection. And then we can go in for a long. Okay, broke that range, so we're not looking for longs anymore. Okay, we just got a long signal again. Still not looking at a trade. We're going to need price to reject off of our current fortification level just below. I was looking at this wick that we created right here as our new fortification for the top of the range. We're still reacting off of these wick gaps that we created above at 1 standard deviation as rejection. Yet again, we can reject from 1.5 standard deviation, which we did. So we can probably still expect price to go bearish. If you wanted to see this as a break or a retest of a range, you could have seen this as a sell entry, because there we had the rejection from the 1 minute. So that could have been an entry for you with 18 ticks. Let's wait. At this point, we took the bottom of the range, but the bottom fortification that I had was this 1 minute wick gap right here, which is a doji. So we're going to need price to break that and retest from that, and then we can head lower. Okay. But also price has not closed below that range. So currently this is still a wick. We still see this as a area that could be used as a rejection. So we're going to have to wait for this candle that's going to be created right now to close past it or reject and give us a signal on what it wants to do. Okay, we have not closed below that candle. So this candle that we just created, as it's highlighted, is a new rejection into our 1 minute. So we're going to have to wait and see what the next 2 candles, 3 candles do. If they're going to reject off of this 1 minute wick gap, this is going to give us indication that we're going to hit bullish. I also want to take a look at another chart because I was looking for SMT and I found SMT on YM at this time because we took the low on ES, but on YM we just created a higher low. Okay. Let's keep that in mind. We have SMT to go bullish. On the 5 minute, we can see we took liquidity. On the 15 minute, we tapped into this wick gap. Yeah. Let's wait for a rejection. This was my rejection candle from that 1 minute wick gap. So I saw this as my retest and breakout. We wicked that low, created a new rejection. And this was my initial entry. We're going to run it at 18 ticks. And then I hit it at 1 standard deviation for a 2R. But yet again, in my previous examples, it was all 2 standard deviation. But I also explained that I usually run it to 1 standard deviation. I think I did, but let's run it through. At the stop, take profit. And this trade was 2 candles. So that was hopefully a more in-depth 2 candle entry method for you guys to understand. Yep. Before I end this video, I just want us to quickly run through maybe re-entering on this trade if we missed out on this quick 2 candle move. We already know that we have fortification at our standard deviation 1. And early on, I did explain that if we do break above this initial one and we have a retest, we go for a buy. But because this is our new fortification, we're going to need a candle to close above and show a bullish rejection into giving us a buy signal. This is going to indicate that we want to use that as support to go higher. See what price does. It goes to standard deviation 2, which would have been the initial take profit as we saw in that live recording that I did. We can see price closed above our 1 minute wick gap as fortification from our standard deviation 1. We're going to need a candle to close back above that to show us that it wants to reject from it, and then we're going to enter for a buy. Okay, we still haven't closed above. We have this new wick that we can use as rejection to go higher. Here we have a candle closing above that initial 1 minute wick gap for fortification on standard deviation 1. We also rejected off of the wick gap that we just created for a low from that rejection. Let's enter for a buy. We're going to run 18 ticks to the next standard deviation that we have open. And place our take profit. Here we can see price closing above that 1 minute wick gap that we used to reject off of standard deviation 2, so we can use that as fortification for the future. Okay, we just had our re-entry hit take profit. If you guys have any questions about this model, please head to Sketchy's Discord. I will leave it in the description down below. I will leave my Discord as well so you guys can come talk to me. My name has been Zero. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys very soon.